Some films are meant to entertain. Others are meant to thrill. But every once in a while, a film comes along that forces us to look straight at a piece of history we might rather forget. Balibo 2009, directed by Robert Connolly, is one of those films. It doesn't just tell a story, it rips the lid off a dark, hidden chapter in Southeast Asian history, and it dares us to face it. The setting is East Timor, 1975. A small, fragile nation is on the brink of independence from Portugal. The people are hopeful. But at the same time, powerful neighbors are circling. Indonesia is preparing to invade, and the world is mostly turning a blind eye. Amid this chaos, 5 young journalists from Australia head into the border town of Balibo. They're chasing a story, armed with little more than cameras and courage. What they don't know is that they risk stepping into a nightmare that will silence their voices forever. At the heart of the film is Roger East, played brilliantly by Anthony LaPaglia, a weary Australian reporter who's lured to East Timor by Jose Ramos Horta, yes. The man who would later win the Nobel Peace Prize and lead his country to independence. East thinks he's there to cover a small, fading colony. What he discovers instead is a full-scale invasion, a cover-up, and the chilling fate of the Balibo Five. Now, here's where the film really grips you. Balibo isn't just history written on the screen, it's a thriller that pulses with urgency. Connolly doesn't let us sit comfortably in our seats. Every scene drips with tension. Every shadow hides danger. And every moment reminds us of the cost of standing too close to the truth. The 5 young journalists aren't portrayed as martyrs or symbols, they're real, human, and full of life, and that's exactly what makes their fate so devastating. But Balibo is bigger than one tragedy. It shines a harsh light on East Timor's long and bloody road to freedom. For decades, over 100,000 lives were lost under occupation, and the world barely blinked. The film asks hard questions. What is the role of a journalist when governments would rather stay silent? What happens when truth is inconvenient, even dangerous? And how far would you go to uncover it? When it hit screens in 2009, Balibo shook people up. In Australia, it reignited debate about what really happened to the journalists and whether the government knew more than it admitted. In Indonesia, the film was banned outright, proof of just how raw the subject still was. But in East Timor, the response was different. The film was embraced as an act of memory, a way of saying, we will not forget. Watching Balibo isn't easy. It's intense, emotional, and, at times, gut-wrenching. But it's also a film that matters. It reminds us that truth has a cost and that some stories, no matter how painful, demand to be told.